Hey everyone, I'm going to be talking about Gestalt Theory. It's created by Fritz Perls and it's considered an existential, phenomenological, and process-based approach. The three main focal points of his approach are awareness, choice, and responsibility. When you first start out in therapy as a client, the number one goal that they set for you is to bring about more awareness. So the whole goal is to be more present, and it's in what they consider the here and now. So they want you to be focused on what's going on right in front of you and experiencing it yourself. So instead of having to have the therapist provide them with this insight, they want you to come to it on your own. So the focus in therapy is more on the process than the content. So they're not so concerned about talking about what's going on in an abstract manner. It's more about directly experiencing what's going on. What I really like about this theory is the paradoxical theory of change, which talks about how we're always so focused on our future and who we could be in the future and what we want to do. So we're always constantly moving between who we actually are and who we think we should be. And is what it really stresses is that during therapy, the therapist wants the client to, instead of don't think about your future and thinking about who you could be, you need to think about right now who you are and where you are. So basically the theory is saying that the more we try and reach for this better person who we think we should be, the further away we are and the more we're going to end up staying the same, actually. So next we have contact versus contact resistance, and it's all about interacting with others and nature, but making sure you stay as an individual. And if you can't stay in the here and now in the present and experience things, then it leads to dysfunctional behavior. And this dysfunctional behavior, there's 5 different terms that they've deemed them, and they're considered boundary disturbances. And they remind me a lot of Freud's defense mechanisms. You have introjection, which is accepting other people's beliefs instead of setting your own. There's projection, so you're seeing qualities in other people that we refuse to acknowledge are actually ourselves. Then there's retroflexion, so doing to ourselves what we would like to do to others. There's deflection, so distraction or veering off topic, which is definitely something I do through humor. And then there's confluence, which is where you're blurring differentiation between yourself and the environment because you want to become accepted. So basically it's someone who's a people pleaser or someone who maybe doesn't want to exactly rock the boat. It's hard to stay in contact for a very long time. Most people can only stay in the present for so long before they end up either reverting towards the past or the future, because it's easier to avoid the present by doing that. A lot of times this leads to unfinished business, and that's why we end up resorting to, say, the past. We're thinking about something that maybe we didn't have resolved as a child, and because of this we hold this pain or hatred. And if we haven't fully experienced this feeling, it's going to linger and stay in the background and interfere with everything we're trying to do and trying to get in contact with ourselves. So a lot of times during therapy, if you have this unfinished business, instead of trying to talk about the past and go backwards, they try to, in this moment right now, how are you feeling about this situation that happened a long time ago? So bringing that contact to the here and now, even though it had happened in the past. So as I wrap this up, one essential thing a counselor in training should know about this theory is that there is a lot of training involved and a lot of work on yourself as an individual before you can help, because there's such a high level of contact between the therapist and the client, and the therapist needs to have a high level of personal development. You have to make sure your needs don't get in the way and interrupt your client. You have to be able to be present in the moment yourself. You can't be demanding or defensive, which is a very demanding job as a therapist. So you need to make sure that if you like Gestalt therapy, that you're willing to go through and be adequately trained to do it,